Thursday, February 4th, 2016. New York City doesn't sleep. The Federal Reserve Bank is still humming, processing its final transactions, running its final checks. Routine, lockdown, untouchable. 4,000 miles away, in Dhaka, Bangladesh, a man named Zubair turns off his office light, picks up his bag, and goes home. He's done everything right today, filed his reports, checked his systems, followed every protocol. He has no idea he will spend the next 72 hours wishing he had stayed. Because as Zubair drives home through the streets of Dhaka, in a place sealed off from the world by poverty and sanctions, in a room with no windows, a cursor begins to move. A command is entered. And the world's financial system is about to be broken in a way that has never happened before. 8:36 p.m. Bangladesh time. The hackers are already inside. They move straight to the SWIFT terminal, the single gateway connecting Bangladesh Bank to its account at the Federal Reserve Bank of New York, and they begin submitting transfer requests. Not one, not 5, 36. Each one is flawless. Correct authorization codes, correct bank credentials, correct formatting down to the last digit. Together they request the movement of $950 million out of Bangladesh's national foreign currency reserves. In one night. No weapons, no explosives, no getaway car. Just keystrokes. In complete silence. To understand what just happened, you need to understand SWIFT. SWIFT is the nervous system of global banking. Every international money transfer on earth flows through it. Central banks, investment firms, governments, all of them depend on it. And before February 4th, 2016, everyone assumed it was impenetrable. Messages arriving through SWIFT were processed without question. The system was the verification. The system was the trust. If you could send a message through it, you were already believed. That was the weapon. And someone had just figured out how to hold it. This was not improvised. 18 months of preparation. 18 months of patience. It started with an email. December 2015. A routine-looking message lands in the inbox of a Bangladesh bank employee. They open it. A door swings open invisibly. Custom malware plants itself into the bank's network and disappears without a trace. For weeks, the attackers simply watch. They learn every system, every schedule, every process connected to SWIFT. They obtain valid operator credentials. They compromise database access. They identify exactly where the largest reserves sit. And then they find the printer. The SWIFT printer in Bangladesh Bank's office runs automatically every day, even on weekends. It logs every transaction in real time. The hackers reprogram it, quietly, weeks before the attack. So on the night of February 4th, it will print blank pages instead of records. Then comes the timing. When New York receives the fraudulent transfers Thursday afternoon, Bangladesh has already closed for the weekend. When Bangladesh reopens Sunday, New York is shut. When investigators try to reach the Philippines, those banks are closed for Chinese New Year. 3 countries. 3 consecutive windows of silence. All engineered, all intentional. This was not the work of criminals. This was the work of architects. The money left Bangladesh. It moved through Wells Fargo, through the Bank of New York Mellon, and then it arrived at a small branch of a Philippine bank called Rizal Commercial Banking Corporation, RCBC, on a street called Jupiter. 5 accounts, opened nearly a year earlier, small deposits, no activity, just waiting. Who opens 5 ghost accounts in the Philippines and waits 12 months to use them? Who builds malware so precise it understands SWIFT's internal architecture at a level most banking engineers never reach? Who has the patience and the resources to spend a year and a half preparing for a single night? Nobody had an answer. Not yet. Friday morning. The city is still waking up. Zubair walks into the office for a routine weekend check. He moves to the SWIFT printer, the machine that's supposed to show him exactly what moved overnight. He pulls the paper tray. Every page is blank. He runs it again. Blank. He moves to the screen. And the numbers appear. Transfer after transfer. Accounts he's never seen. Destinations that don't belong. Funds that should be sitting in a New York vault gone. His hands go to the phone. Bangladesh Bank calls the Federal Reserve. The Federal Reserve reviews the records. And the answer comes back clean, clinical, devastating. Every transaction is confirmed. Every single one. Within days, the story breaks. Governments move fast. SWIFT issues emergency warnings to thousands of member banks worldwide. Bangladesh's parliament erupts. The Federal Reserve faces the full weight of public scrutiny. Then SWIFT reveals something worse. This wasn't isolated. They had seen variations of this attack before at other banks on other continents. The same architecture, the same fingerprints. Bangladesh wasn't a target. It was the latest one. And the blame game begins immediately. Bangladesh points at the Fed. How did you process 36 fraudulent transfers without a single flag? The Fed points back. How did your systems have no firewall, no isolation, no detection? Everyone is pointing. No one is catching. The money didn't vanish. It moved. Investigators start following it step by step, country by country. The forensic firm Mandiant examines Bangladesh Bank's systems. The malware is everywhere, embedded since at least January, possibly longer. The $81 million that cleared the Philippines is already gone, converted into casino chips in Manila, cashed out clean on the other side. But another $20 million was heading toward a Sri Lankan charitable foundation. A bank clerk in Germany pauses on the name. Something feels wrong. He flags it. The transfer is frozen. One clerk, one instinct. $20 million saved. The rest gone. Before anyone else's systems recovers malware samples from the attack and goes quiet for a moment. The code is not commercial. It's not repurposed. It was written from scratch, specifically engineered for SWIFT's internal software, showing a level of knowledge almost nobody outside the network's own developers would possess. This bank was not stumbled upon. It was studied. 3 suspects. 3 directions. First, insiders. Someone within Bangladesh Bank had handed over access or helped map the network. The months of invisible presence made this impossible to rule out. Second, organized crime. Eastern European groups had the technical firepower. The casino laundering operation pointed toward professional criminal infrastructure. But the third theory was the one that changed the conversation. A group called the Lazarus Group. Named, tracked, allegedly state-sponsored, and allegedly operating out of North Korea. Cybersecurity firms Symantec and Before Anyone Else Systems both noted it independently. The malware signatures matched. The operational patterns matched. The targets matched. North Korea. A country sealed off from the global financial system by decades of international sanctions. No access to SWIFT. No access to foreign reserves. And apparently no intention of accepting that. In the Philippines, investigators find their answer. A branch manager at RCBC named Maya Santos de Guito had processed the transfers, authorized the withdrawals, facilitated the laundering. She is arrested, charged, convicted. The headlines call it solved, a corrupt insider, a compromised branch, case closed. Except Maya Santos de Guito did not write that malware. She did not breach SWIFT. She did not spend 15 months inside Bangladesh Bank's network planning every variable of a multinational heist. She was a single component, activated once, never told what she was part of. Someone far above her had built the machine, and that someone was already long gone. And then the full picture emerges, and it is far larger than anyone had said publicly. Bangladesh was not alone. Vietnam, Ecuador, Poland, India, Taiwan, Russia. Bank after bank, continent after continent, the same malware architecture, the same operational patience, the same fingerprint quietly repeating across years. The planning for Bangladesh alone had begun as early as October 2014. 15 months of preparation for one night. But here is the moment that stops investigators cold. This was not the largest cyber theft ever attempted. It was the first proof that central banks, the institutions that underpin entire national economies, could be compromised from a laptop. Not by an army. By a phishing email. North Korea reportedly employs over 1,000 500 state-trained hackers, backed by thousands of technical support staff, operating under direct government authority as an instrument of foreign policy. They couldn't access the global financial system, so they decided to take from it instead. The attack is formally attributed to North Korea's Reconnaissance General Bureau, the same intelligence apparatus running the country's most sensitive covert operations. This was not rogue actors. This was official state policy, signed off, organized, repeated. Total theft attempts attributed to the Lazarus Group across all operations, over $1.2 billion. $1.2 billion. Stolen not from vaults, not from armored cars, but from the invisible wires that hold the global economy together. A country banned from the financial system had built a shadow version of it, and it was working. SWIFT launches a mandatory global security overhaul. Thousands of member banks receive emergency directives. The customer security program goes live. The architecture of international banking is rebuilt around a threat nobody had imagined. Too late for Bangladesh. Of the $81 million successfully stolen, investigators recover approximately $15 million traced through a single casino operator in Manila. The rest is gone. Layered through shell accounts, dissolved into the underground economy of a country already invisible to the world. And the man, U.S. investigators name as primary architect, a North Korean hacker identified as Park Jin-hyuk, remains on the FBI's most wanted list. Uncharged, unreachable, untouched. The governor of Bangladesh Bank resigns. March 15, 2016. Forced out by a crime he never saw coming, committed by people he never saw at all. Zubair cooperates fully with investigators. Weeks of interviews, every detail, every morning log, every blank page. He had followed every protocol, done everything right, and it hadn't mattered at all. The Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas fines RCBC $53 million, the largest penalty in the regulator's history. And a truth surfaces that no institution in the world wants to say out loud. Bangladesh Bank had no firewall protecting its SWIFT terminal. It ran on second-hand switches. Its most critical systems shared infrastructure with general staff computers. Nobody had flagged it. Nobody had audited it. Nobody had asked. Not because it was hidden. Because the question had never occurred to anyone. 3 years pass. The Federal Reserve pledges assistance. SWIFT commits to rebuilding Bangladesh Bank's infrastructure. International agreements are drafted. Security frameworks are overhauled. Promises. 3 years later. The legal system designed for crimes committed in physical space has no mechanism fast enough for a theft that crossed 6 countries in under 12 hours. Jurisdictions conflict. Casino loopholes hold. Evidence dissolves across borders with no extradition path. Park Jin-hyuk remains free. The money remains gone. And the world has no clean answer for what happens next time. Here is what we know. In one night, invisible attackers spent 18 months preparing, for they entered a vault, used stolen credentials, sent flawless transfers, and made sure the only machine that could have caught them printed nothing but blank pages. Zubair walked in the next morning and held those pages in his hands. Blank, silent. He was holding the future. A future where the most dangerous heist in history leaves no footprints, no sound, no trace. Just a cursor, a command, and money that was there, and then wasn't. Somewhere right now, a bank is receiving a transfer request. It looks exactly like all the others, and no one knows if it's real, until it's too late.